Okay, welcome back. In the previous one, we were looking at some server code, taking out sort of the defensive programming and doing kind of a default operation if parameters weren't quite correct, and turning it into a very explicit, like you must have these parameters. If not, it's just wrong, and we're going to error out. So here's what I want to do here. Going into the user interface. And let's see, let's go into our chat here. So the problem that I alluded to before is these optional parameters of video URL, on frame change, FPS. All of these shouldn't be optional, and we shouldn't be doing alternate things if we are given that optional parameter. So let me see how this sort of plays out. So let's see what this does. Sorry, let me see if I can do voice transcription here. VideoPlayer props has some optional values, period. These should not be optional. Video URL, on frame change, FPS, all of these should be non-optional. It doesn't make sense for these not to be valid. So I don't want to do anything that is going to adapt it. So for example, on line 26, we are rewriting the video URL if it wasn't passed in. I don't want to do that. Video URL must be there and must be a valid value. We're not going to do alternate things if we don't have that. So look at what is being done for all of these current optional values and be very explicit about it. It must be set. Don't do any sort of branching and pick some default operation. So let's see what happens here. I sort of expect it to do the right thing. So what I expect this is it's going to pull, it's changing effective video URL. Yeah, so it did that. We pulled out. So yeah, we pulled this out. Well, that did it very quickly. On frame change. So yeah, on frame change must be set. And that's really just it. So let's go ahead and accept this. Let's see here. Let's run the server, and I'm just going to tab over and see that this we're going to do a smoke test. So the smoke test actually failed. I don't actually. Well, I should check to see if it didn't fail before. But let's pass in this error here. We get a recursive error. Let's just pass in that whole console. Yeah, that's fine. Is it too long to display? Let's just our console is going crazy here. Okay, give me a second here and let me see if I can pass in the console. Okay, so that's cooking. This is the console log that I had, and I'm guessing that probably this was passing in video URLs and other things that were not correct. It was kind of relying on these default behaviors, and I do not want that to happen. So curious what's going to happen here. Found the source of the infinite loop. So it is looking at this tripod half field of view. I'm curious also with this, how many adaptations? Yeah, look at that. It's passing in a null URL if it's not passed. Let's see if that actually fixed. I don't I don't like this fix, but it sort of worked. Wow. Error components invalid tripod tilt. So it is now creating this before we get the structs, or we get the state. Curious here. We're going down this like refactoring rabbit hole, and we're scrubbing at an infected wound here. Let's change this. I think the issue is that, let me increase the font size so you can see this a little better. How do I do this? There we go. The windows and everything are being created before the initial state of the project is loaded from the server. Is this going to work? Because what happens here? Let me just talk through this for a second. When this page comes up, if we go back to projects and we click this and we go to this page, it's going to fetch the project info from the server, and then once it has it, it's going to sort of repopulate that. So I'm guessing there is a, let's see if we can find it here. What's it called? Get state, something like that. Project state. There it is. Project state. There's a handler. Video player with overlay. Get camera. Get camera frame. Nope. Project state. We need a project state equals. There we go. Await here. So this is where it's getting the project state. And it's doing this in a use effect after like the whole user interface has been created. So everything has to be able to operate before the project state is actually loaded, and we need to change this. So let's do this. Currently, this is going to be a major refactor. Okay, so I think this is actually beyond what we want to do here, but because currently the state is loaded, we got to add this. Sorry, I'm out of breath. I just let the dogs out and brought in some stuff. So currently the state's loaded in this, and a lot depends on this state and on initial creation. The state doesn't exist. There should be an outside component that loads the state. Yeah. And then the state is passed into ProjectDetailPage once loaded. This way, the state is always valid. And yeah, let's just do that. Let's see what happens here. So this, yeah, create a wrapper component. So it's doing the right thing. Because otherwise, like, I mean, everything in ProjectDetailPage depends on the state being like true. So, this load project and state, like we shouldn't do that. This just needs to have the state in there. Otherwise, we're creating subcomponents that have the wrong thing. It's just not cool. Like they say, I agree with your assessment. This should get rid of a lot of extra defensive code because, well, let's just see here. Our project state right now. So, Yeah, they get the filters there. Set camera. Yeah, so set camera. What's our camera when we begin? So it's default camera parameters. Absolutely, we should not have default camera parameters. The camera parameters, the static camera parameters must be what's in the state. We don't initialize anything that does not have actual valid state. The default camera parameters are not what it should be. Let's see what else is there. What's the video URL? Yeah. So we're doing this sort of thing. That's, yeah. So the project here should always be set. Get active filters. Okay. Is that reactive? Interesting. Preview box, selected filter name. I'm just kind of vamping while this is cooking. Is server controlled camera? That's okay. I'm just looking for the additional things that are in here that are sort of making adaptations if the project is not set. Yeah, it's like this. Shown when no property is selected, but it's also shown optionally. Yeah. So we have that this one's this is okay, but this is not. So I think actually what's going on here is it's erroring out. I think maybe there's high demand or something. Okay, it finished. Let's see how well it did. So reloading just completely bombs out here. Let's copy the console and dump it into cursor and see what it does. Okay, that's a lot of data, but we'll see what happens. Project detail page component. Okay, so I think it didn't remove some of the extra loading stuff. So I would say that this is one of my major improvements that I make to code, or kind of a philosophy, is that we don't make adaptations if something is wrong. And it doesn't mean that we just validate and return or we error out. I mean, we do, and tools like Rust can certainly add to that with the question mark operator and the result types or optional types. More challenging to do in TypeScript. And really what we're doing here is we're saying, well, let's not make it so that you can ever even have a value. So this sort of stuff, we got to get rid of that, because this just needs to not happen. Okay, so now it's trying to rebuild it or to check it. It's got an error here, but let's see how it did. Okay, there's sort of one more call here I need to fix. I think it's going to be here. Let's add that context. The video URL needs to be set. Video overlay. This is a string computed by project ID. It's grabbing, it's using the server. What is it? Let's just pass in main.rs. Endpoint. What is it? There. This. Let's add that to chat. I think that's going to fix it. I think that the only issue we have right now is it's not passing in the video URL here. So we'll see if this fixes it. Video URLs based off of this. Let's update this. Yeah, no, see, that's not what I want it to do. That is the one thing I don't want it to do. Oh, gosh. It just needs to be set. This should actually error out because VideoPlayer with overlay, the video URL is not set, but it can be undefined here for some reason. Why can it be undefined? Probably because of this. That's it. This is why. And now it's doing the wrong thing. Doggone it. Okay, let's stop and reject this. Okay, let's come back here. Let's see if we can fix this even more. In video overlay, in this, here, oh, sorry, we grab this, add to chat, video player with overlay props. Video URL should not be optional nor FPS. Or honestly any other parameter. All these, that's not how you spell these, THESE, should all be set in project detail page and be valid. Video URL should be set in project detail page and formed by the API video ID path or whatever URL, something like that. Let's see what happens. I apologize. This is getting long, but this is frustrating me because it is trying to, again, do this sort of defensive programming. Let's do something right if we do the wrong thing. There we go. This looks better. So this should now, since we changed that type, this should now be complaining that video URL is missing in the type. And video URL should always be able to be built because project is always valid. Now, it looks okay. So we're getting better. This project ID I don't think needs to be set. Let's look at this while it's cooking. So project ID I don't think is actually being used, and here it shouldn't be because a video player shouldn't need to know about the project at all. The video player needs to know just how to render a video. If it's dependent on project ID, then it needs to know what a project is, and that's not its responsibility. Its responsibility is to show a video. It's a single responsibility. Although there's obviously other things like cameras and stuff like that. I think video URL is actually a little bit, I think this needs to be refactored as well, but we'll we'll manage that. Let's make one word job to handle the null preview box. You know what? Let's just see. Let's accept all, and let's reload. Oh, look at this. We did this. Nice. So we're kind of back to where we were before, which is good. I think yeah. So it's at least the smoke test is working. We do get, that's an invalid half. Okay, so we are, for some reason, ooh, look at that. Full properties. Half field of view is not set, nor is tripod. But is it? It is at this point. So I think we're actually creating this 3JS viewer without something. We're better. Let me end this video. We got to clean this up. We haven't gotten rid of the infection yet. We're perhaps getting close. Let me just look at this before we go back. Let's see what project ID is. Wow, the number of squiggles we have is just unreal. Did I? Oh, I deleted something there. So let's look at project ID. When is server controlled camera changes? Yeah. Okay. That might be okay. Okay. I think we need to close this out. We are way over budget with time. And we need to look at how to manage this even more, because we're not done at all with this by any means.